You can imagine a current running under everything. Not electricity. Not river water exactly, but something that moves through both. A rhythm that makes atoms dance and thoughts find shape. When you remember that it's easier to stop trying so hard to attract and instead allow the field to meet you where you already are. People call it spiritual magnetism, yet magnetism never chases, it aligns. Iron doesn't beg the magnet, it simply remembers its polarity. You've already done this before. When you met someone and both of you laughed at the same second for no reason. That flicker of resonance, that's the lesson in miniature. Now, it's interesting, isn't it? How the body knows this before the mind does. A breath deepens, pupils widen. The skin feels like a radio catching signal. That's the intuition waking up saying, yes, pay attention here. And when you start to trust those subtle signals, that pull in the gut, that say go, or the quiet nudges that say wait, you begin living from the inside out instead of the outside in. Some people call that activation. Others call it listening. Either way, it's a tuning process. Science would tell you it's coherence. The heart and the brain syncing rhythms. Spirit might call it remembering who's breathing whom. Names are less important than the felt sense of alignment. And alignment is contagious. Imagine now, just as a story, a world where half the people forgot they were magnetic. They'd start labelling every signal as other, blaming noise for the silence inside. That's how separation starts, not as war, but as mislabeling. Then imagine what happens when even one person remembers again. Suddenly, conversations soften, colours brighten, possibilities widen, because coherence doesn't shout, it radiates. Every belief you upgrade, every healing code you transmute through kindness, feeds the larger field. A single act of clarity stabilizes thousands of unseen equations. You can call that karma or feedback or simply consequence. It's not a reward or punishment, just physics wearing poetry. And the funny part, the more you let go of trying to channel, the easier the channel clears. The more you play, the more precise the intuition. Children do this naturally. They just don't call it psychic ability. They call it imagination. That's the original frequency upgrade. Wonder without fear. So now, chunk up to the big picture for a second. Zoom out. Think of the ramifications. A person who's magnetic doesn't just draw things in. They organise reality. They become a pattern of coherence around which chaos begins to make sense. The future, bright or dull, will be shaped by who remembers how to organise energy through attention. And you already practice this each time you choose focus over distraction. If you ignore it, the field doesn't punish you. It just mirrors your noise. Static in, static out. But the moment you return to stillness, even for one honest breath, the signal sharpens again. That's the mercy of the system. It resets every moment. So here's a fun experiment. Because learning works best when it's playful. For the next 3 days, treat every encounter as magnetic feedback. If someone annoys you, notice what part of you resonates with the irritation. If someone inspires you, absorb that pattern like good soil taking rain. This is how teaching becomes transmission. Life itself training the nervous system to hold higher charge without burning out. And as you do, notice the subtle drama unfolding. How fear loses its job when curiosity shows up. How even skepticism is just faith wearing armour. How every choice to align, breathe, smile, focus, forgive sends a small pulse into the shared field, rewriting probabilities in ways you may never track but will always feel. That's the real activation. The realization that every moment is a teaching, every person a mirror, every emotion a code, and that your magnetism is simply awareness in motion. Take a moment now, hearing these words, to feel that awareness settle through the muscles of your face, down the spine, into the ground. Nothing mystical, just physics, gravity, breath. And if you listen closely, you might hear the hum that's always been there, steady, unhurried, amused, reminding you that the current never left. You just closed your eyes for a while. Open them again whenever you're ready. Bring the magnetism with you. Use it for something kind.